person because it's all you can do. I was very stressed the day it happened. I drank a lot, had a big panic attack, sorted all my feelings out. But then, day 2, it's time to figure out what we're going to do.
Did you literally have a panic attack? Panic attack?
Yes.
Wow. Can you talk about it? Like what is, did you fall to the ground? Like that kind of panic attack?
I don't know how big do we want to go into this. It's really, really hard to explain.
Kyle gets those too, so he'll understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I go unconscious. Yeah,
he passed out in the courtroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was a different courtroom. Just to be clear, that was when I was 20.
This happened many
21. Yeah, I went down in a couple of courtrooms.
Sometimes you just drive by. He's like a fainting goat.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no.
Nice.
The incident Taylor's talking about is when it's like, I don't know what it's called, maybe arraignment or something like that. It's like the first part of like federal court when they're like reading out all of the charges. And I hadn't heard some of them before, and I was just like, and I certainly hadn't heard them come out of I'd heard them come out of my lawyer's voice. It was like, oh yeah, and there's this thing. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's getting squashed right away. And then there's this thing. We talked to ATF. They're like, if it were me, I'd go to court on that because that one's bullshit. Don't worry about that. And then there's this little thing and this little thing, and the maximum for those are this and that. And I'm just like, all right, so that's very calming. And then you get to court, and the prosecutor is like, and this and that and the other while doing this, and then it just keeps going for like 8 more charges. And I like whisper to my lawyer, I'm about to go unconscious. You've got 60 seconds to get me a chair.
Nice. Very nice.
And he's like, can we get a chair?
He just fell over.
Is that how it went down? Did they get you a chair?
They got me a chair. I stayed conscious, but I needed the chair.
Fanning yourself. So yeah, you're among at least one. I've never had a pass out like that. It sounds terrifying and awful. Was it something like that you experienced that day?
It's kind of weird. Up until I was like, I'm not trying to derail too much. Up until I was 30, I've never had any mental issue ever in my life. I've never had anxiety, depression, anything like that. I'm just a rock solid, stable mind. And then when I was 30, I decided, oh wow, people talk about mushrooms. Let's try like a fuck ton of these. And after that, I've had some problems. And one of those was that I experienced a panic attack, which led to me being able to experience more. So when I experience a panic attack, it's really hard to explain. Or maybe it's not. Maybe normal people understand this. I've never felt like terror in my life. Like generally, I feel when something bad happens, I usually feel like a nervous excitement. And it usually like propels me forward. Like I want to do something like, oh, cool, whatever. But I guess when I have a panic attack, it's just it's this feeling of absolute and total certainty that you're about to die. I don't know why or how. That's just like, and it's hard to explain what that feels like because generally when you associate like near death, like if I'm in my car and like a truck tries to merge into me, like the adrenaline will get pumping and I'll be like, ooh, brakes, whatever. And you're very, very excited. This is not like that kind of excitement at all. It's just a very depressive, horrible feeling that like starts to go through your body that like, fuck, everything is over. And I think my biggest fear at the time was that I know how inefficient Twitch is and how many different institutions exist inside Twitch. And I wasn't sure because the departnering came from the legal team. I didn't know if there was a permaban working its way through the other part of the system. So I was kind of in limbo there because I wasn't sure if a big ban was coming. And that uncertainty is something is really stressful for all humans.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody likes uncertainty.
Of course.
Yeah. So, it's your fight or flight system being out of whack. And it just goes to the max and kind of it can't do either. Like I have some panic attacks where I'm able to like use some breathing techniques and kind of like focus and pull myself like right the ship and pull out of it. But sometimes it's like we're going down, everyone brace for impact. Like I need to find a couch or the floor quickly because like I have passed out and like normally when you trip and fall, like you break your fall, but when you go unconscious, you just collapse like a house of cards. So like I've fallen on like concrete before one time and just like fucked my elbow up and like
die. Dude, falling from head height is deadly.
Yeah. I fell
from what height? I didn't hear that.
Head height.
Head height. 6 feet.
Oh, just
hitting your head on the ground, you're fucked.
It's not uncommon.
Well, the ground might be in trouble for me.
Fighters, they can get hurt because they collapse in a bad way, right? Like you're not supposed to land on your shoulder like that or bend your knee the wrong way. And if you're just out, like knocked out, like a fighter would be, they often like bust an ACL, even though it was a hit to the chin.
You fall like that Tom Segura video where he just becomes a crumpled spider. Oh God, I could see that video in my head. It was such a bad injury.
I think when you get knocked on like a concussion, I think that when you get knocked out, I think your body has a response where you do a particular thing where you stiffen up or something.
Fencing response.
Yeah,
That's why you see like when people get knocked out, they just like go down and they're just like looking very inhuman, very weird.
It can be weird for refs because the fencing response can be mistaken in some situations for a defensive posture. Like they're still defending themselves, maybe I'm trying to hold you off, but that's not what happens. I'm just out